Hey everybody, I wanted to give you an update on the 3D printed Fireball XL5 model that I've been working with here. I just now, today, just actually glued all the pieces together except for the nose cone Fireball Jr. So all the rest of it has been glued together. And I decided to, this time, go ahead and use just super glue instead of using the 3D Gloop. The reason being is a lot of warnings came with this to use this in an extremely well ventilated and with a respirator. And I decided that I would just go ahead and use super glue and see how that works. And then use this because today I just didn't feel like getting all the ventilation out and working with that stuff. I have two fillers I'm going to be working with, experimenting with. One is a DAP plastic wood filler. I'm going to mix down just a little bit with water, as someone suggested. And then I also have the Bondo glazing and spot putty, and this too has been recommended to be used with a respirator and well ventilated. So these two products I'm going to use for another test product print, but not for this one. So I'll be using this filler on my test pieces, and I have a couple of test pieces. This is a thin that failed to print. A cat knocked it over. All right, and this is a test print that I'm going to use. You can just see the lines here. I print this at 0.12, which is pretty fine. So the number of lines is not bad. There we go. We start to see some. And I'm going to see if this putty will fill that in a little bit without too much work. We'll see. And all that. If not, from a distance, the model looks pretty good. And I think if I painted it, yeah, sure, if you got real super close on it, you'd see those lines. But that is the first test piece, and then the other test piece I have is I have this cockpit I printed out for Fireball Jr., and it's got some holes here and again lines, and I want to see how I can this putty will work for filling this thing up. And then I have the second Fireball Jr. that I've printed out that I'm going to leave open like this with the missile launchers and the access. Let me see if I can get into the light here a little bit. Access into the interior there. When the show opens up, you see a shot like this, and the Steve Zodiac and Venus fly into the into this area here, into the ship, and it's just tiny little models. But anyway, it's actually kind of funny. But I decided to keep this. So my second Fireball Jr. will be open like this. I am going to let me see here. I'll just go ahead and take this apart here real quick. There's for this Fireball Jr., I'm going to go ahead and print out the clear glass piece they gave you, but obviously it's going to be a solid plastic piece, and it wouldn't be, clear. I'm going to use it as a mold for vacuum forming, and I'm going to try and make a clear part to cover the cockpit here area up. But overall, the super glue has held this model together really well. Very good detail on this model. At each section, let me zoom in here. At each section, there were guide pieces that held it together, and here and here. So they had little clips, little pieces that came in there to guide, kind of like dowel rods that held the pieces together and lined them up. The only real issue I have for filling is on the fin. The designer of this decided to leave the fin as one piece on the body instead of a separate piece. Not sure why. That person knew what they were doing, obviously more than me. But actually, so that's only one out of, to be honest with you, out of the rest of this model, that one line is not that major of a deal. It's not a real deal breaker and all that. So but the overall detail on the model is just, I can't rave enough about it. There we go. So that's it for today. And remind yourself, if you're going to build a white model, don't photograph it on a white table because you never see it, so I had to get a blanket out. All right, that's it for now. I'll update you when I start using the putty to fill it and get into the painting stage.